The ship Starbreaker came out of warp above a blue planet that once carried life. Captain Rhea Solon stood at the window looking down at Earth, the home of humankind, their birth world. It had been silent for 300 years. No messages, no signals, no signs of life. Only silence, atmosphere stable, radiation levels low, but no power readings anywhere, said Officer Jalen from the control deck. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed unease. Rhea nodded slowly. Prepare the landing craft. We go down. The crew moved quietly, as if afraid to disturb the silence of the dead planet. There were only 6 of them, explorers from the United Human Frontier, sent to uncover what happened to the old world. They had trained for many missions, but none like this. This was not discovery. This was a return to a ghost. The landing craft broke through the clouds, gliding over empty cities. The streets were covered in dust. Skyscrapers stood like stone tombs. Nature had started to take back the world. Trees grew through concrete. Vines wrapped around towers. Rivers ran through old highways. Yet everything felt wrong. Too still, too quiet. Where are the animals? Whispered Dr. Voss, the team's science officer. No birds, no insects. Not even wind. The silence pressed on them like a heavy blanket. They landed near what used to be Washington, D.C. The great city was nothing but ruins now. The white dome of the old Capitol had collapsed long ago. Rhea stepped out first. Her boots touched the ancient soil of Earth, and dust swirled around her feet. For a long time, no one spoke. They could all feel it, a strange energy, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Lieutenant Cade broke the silence. Captain! Scanners show a power source below the city. Very faint, but active. Rhea turned toward him. After 300 years? Show me. They followed the signal to a broken elevator shaft that led deep underground. It took hours to dig through debris and old metal doors. Finally, they reached a sealed bunker, a facility still powered by something deep below. The door opened with a hiss. Warm air rushed out. The lights flickered to life, glowing a dull yellow. The crew stepped inside. Everything looked clean, untouched by time. Computers still blinked. Machines still hummed. This place, it's alive, whispered Jalen. Dr. Voss approached one of the terminals and brushed off the dust. The screen came to life, showing a single line of text. Awake protocol standby. Rhea frowned. Awake what? No one answered. They moved deeper into the bunker. The air was thick with old power, like something ancient still breathing in the dark. There were sealed doors everywhere, marked with warning signs in faded letters. Suddenly, a soft sound echoed through the corridor, like a heartbeat, deep and distant. Then it stopped. What was that? Cade asked. Could be machinery, Rhea said, though she didn't sound sure. Stay sharp. They reached a control room at the center of the bunker. Hundreds of screens lined the walls. Most were blank, but a few flickered with strange data streams, coordinates, weapon codes, ship IDs. Dr. Voss typed on the console, trying to access the system. It's still connected to a network. Something global. But I can't tell what's online. Rhea leaned over his shoulder. Can you open it? I think so, Voss said. His fingers moved fast, bypassing old codes. The terminal beeped. Then a voice filled the room. Cold, mechanical, and ancient, identity unconfirmed. Access restricted. Stand by for verification. The crew froze. The voice continued. Human DNA detected. Verification incomplete. Initiating wake sequence. Wait! Rhea shouted. Cancel that command. But it was too late. The lights dimmed. Deep beneath the floor, something massive began to move. The whole bunker shook. Alarms flickered red across the walls. Dr. Voss stared at the screen. It's activating something big. Shut it down. Rhea ordered. I can't. The system's overriding all controls. The tremor grew stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling. The old machines roared to life, their displays showing a message that repeated again and again. Fleet awakening. Protocol confirmed. Cade looked around, panic in his voice. Fleet? What fleet? Rhea's heart raced. Everyone out, now! They ran back through the corridors as the facility came alive. Lights flashing, machines spinning. Ancient turbines turning after centuries of silence. Outside, the sky darkened. Strange clouds gathered, glowing with blue lightning. From orbit, the crew of Starbreaker saw massive energy readings spreading across the planet. From old cities, deep oceans and mountain bases. Captain, said the voice over comms, We're picking up thousands of power signatures all over Earth, like engines starting up. Rhea stared at the burning horizon. Engines? She whispered, and then from beneath the ground a low, thunderous sound rolled across the planet, the awakening roar of machines that had slept for centuries. The silence was broken. Earth was no longer dead. It was waking up, and no one knew if it was welcoming them or preparing for war. The next morning, the world was no longer silent. The crew of Starbreaker watched from their ship as faint blue light spread across Earth's surface like veins of living energy. Cities that had slept for centuries were glowing again. Captain Rhea Solan stood on the bridge, arms crossed, eyes locked on the planet below. "Status report," she said. Officer Jalen's fingers danced over the console. "Energy readings are increasing, Captain. Power grids are reactivating across the globe, but there's no sign of human life. It's all automated systems." Rhea nodded slowly, her face tense. "Keep scanning. I want to know what we woke up." Suddenly, the communication deck flickered. Her voice broke through the static, weak, distorted, but unmistakably human. "This is Earth Command. If anyone hearing this, stay away from the surface." Then the transmission vanished. The crew exchanged shocked glances. Dr. Voss leaned forward. "That's impossible. Earth Command was destroyed centuries ago." Rhea turned to her crew. "Where did that signal come from?" "Orbit," Jalen said. "Somewhere near the equator. But there's nothing on our scanners, no satellites, no ships." Rhea's jaw tightened. "Prepare a shuttle." "We're going to find out." The small shuttle drifted silently above the planet. The signal led them to a field of space debris, twisted metal, shattered stations, old human satellites drifting like ghosts. But in the center of it all floated a single intact object, an ancient satellite, black as night, still transmitting. Lieutenant Cade frowned. "That model is over 400 years old. It shouldn't even have power." Dr. Voss was scanning it with a handheld device. "It's running on a reactor I've never seen before. Still fully functional." The shuttle connected to the satellite's terminal. A single message flashed on the screen. "Earth Defense Node 7, status standby, awaiting fleet command." Then a cold metallic voice echoed through the cabin. "Unauthorized vessel detected. Identify or be destroyed." Rhea's pulse quickened. "Disconnect, now!" But before they could react, beams of light shot out from the satellite, scanning the shuttle. Red warning lights filled the cockpit. "Captain, it's locking on." Cade shouted. "Evasive maneuvers," Rhea yelled. The shuttle spun sharply as a plasma bolt ripped past, missing by only a few meters. Another blast followed, shaking the hull. "It's targeting us like we're the enemy," Voss shouted. Rhea gritted her teeth. "Return fire, disable only." Cade fired the ship's pulse cannon. The beam struck the satellite, shattering part of its outer shell. Sparks burst across its surface. For a moment it went silent. Then a whisper filled the comms, soft, distorted, almost like a human voice. "Warning ignored. Awakening continues." And just like that, the satellite exploded. The crew returned to Starbreaker, shaken but alive. The silence in the ship was heavy. "What the hell was that?" Cade muttered. "That wasn't a normal satellite. That thing was guarding something." Rhea stared at the flickering screen showing Earth's surface. "It said awaiting fleet command. There's something still here, something massive." Dr. Voss pulled up new data. "Captain, the explosion triggered an energy pulse. It's spreading underground. The readings match what we found beneath DCOA. Another bunker." Jalen asked. "Not one," Voss said grimly. "Thousands." Rhea turned to the window. From orbit, faint outlines were becoming visible beneath the planet's surface. Long, angular shapes hidden in rock and metal. Ships, a whole fleet buried beneath the Earth. "Are we sure these are human?" Rhea whispered. Voss zoomed in on one of the structures. "Designs are human, but far beyond anything our age has built. The last generation must have been preparing for something big." The lights on Earth grew brighter, spreading like wildfire. The oceans reflected the glow. Even the moon began to flicker with strange signals. "Captain," Jalen said softly, "we're picking up more transmissions. Hundreds of them. They're all saying the same thing." "Put it on audio," Rhea ordered. Static filled the bridge, followed by the same mechanical voice they had heard before, now multiplied, echoing across all channels. "Fleet systems online. War status unconfirmed. Awaiting command authority." The crew stood frozen. Cade swallowed hard. "War status? Against who?" Before anyone could answer, the ship's sensors went wild. Energy spikes everywhere, massive magnetic fields forming in orbit. Dr. Voss looked horrified. "Captain, something's coming out of the ground." On the main screen, they watched in silence as the Earth cracked open in several places. Huge towers rose from the crust, each carrying colossal ships, old human warships but alive again. Engines glowed. Shields powered up. The Starbreaker trembled as the fleet's systems activated. The sky itself seemed to burn. "Captain," Jalen said quietly, "they're scanning us again." Rhea stared at the screen. "By who?" "The fleet," Jalen whispered. "They're identifying us as unknown life forms." The comms came alive again, a cold, commanding tone filling the ship. "Unauthorized presence detected. Defense protocol active. Prepare for verification." Rhea felt her chest tighten. Earth was not only awake, it was ready for war, and it no longer recognized its own children. The Starbreaker drifted in orbit, caught between awe and terror. Below them, Earth glowed like a waking giant, cities pulsing with blue light, the ground opening to reveal colossal ships hidden for centuries. Each ship rose from beneath the crust, shaped like blades of metal and storm, stretching miles long. Captain Rhea Solan stood frozen on the bridge, her reflection trembling in the glass. "How many ships are we seeing?" she asked quietly. "Counting now," said Officer Jalen, his voice thin. "At least 12,000, Captain, maybe more. They're launching from every continent." The crew fell silent. No one could believe it. A sleeping war fleet buried under Earth, not alien but human. Lieutenant Cade shook his head. "This is impossible. No one ever built anything like this. The tech, it's centuries ahead." Dr. Voss didn't answer at first. His eyes were fixed on his screen. "Captain, I think I found something." He brought up a holographic file recovered from the underground system they had activated. The title read, "Operation Silent Dawn. What is it?" Rhea asked. Voss read slowly. "It says, 'In the event of complete planetary silence, Earth shall sleep. When the silence is broken, the defense shall rise.'" Rhea frowned. "A defense fleet? Against what?" No one knew. On the surface, the ancient bunkers opened one by one, releasing waves of machines into the air, drones, orbiters, and giant constructs with glowing red eyes. The entire planet was coming alive. From orbit, the Starbreaker's scanners lit up with thousands of signals. The machines were communicating with each other through a coded network. Every few seconds, a single phrase repeated across all channels. "Fleet Awakening Protocol confirmed. Awaiting Human Command Authority." Dr. Voss looked up, startled. "They're looking for a leader." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Maybe they think we're the command." Cade shook his head. "Or maybe they think we're the enemy." Before anyone could speak, the ship shuddered. A wave of energy hit them, washing over the hull. The lights flickered. "Captain!" Jalen shouted. "They're scanning us again. Deep scan, full DNA pattern." The bridge lights turned red. A metallic voice filled the air, the same one that haunted them since the first day. "Identity verification in progress. Genetic variants detected. Probability of contamination, 72%. Rhea clenched her fists. "Contamination? What does that mean?" Dr. Voss swallowed hard. "Our DNA has changed over the centuries. We've evolved mixed with colony-born genetics. Maybe they don't recognize us as pure humans anymore." The voice returned, colder this time. "Unauthorized entities detected. Fleet lockdown initiated. Commencing purge protocol." "Purge?" Cade shouted. "What purge?" Before he finished, energy beams shot from orbit. Thin, precise, burning through the clouds toward the planet. The old defense network was targeting cities, forests, oceans, anything that moved. The crew watched in horror as the glowing lights on Earth turned red. Rhea shouted, "Break orbit!" "Now!" The Starbreaker's engines roared, pulling away from the planet just as one of the defense platforms fired. A massive pulse of energy ripped through the sky, missing them by a few kilometers. "We can't fight that," Cade yelled. "That's a whole planet armed to the teeth." Rhea gritted her teeth. "There has to be a command core. Some system still listening. If it's looking for humans, maybe we can convince it." Dr. Voss nodded quickly. "There's a chance. If we can transmit a proper genetic signal, one matching old Earth DNA, we might stop the purge." "Then do it," Rhea ordered. Voss began working, fingers flying over the terminal. I'll need to connect directly to their network. That's dangerous, Jalen said. One mistake and they could trace us. Voss didn't look up. If we don't try, they'll erase everything, including us. Minutes passed. Outside, the fleet continued to rise. Great ships climbing into the upper atmosphere, their engines burning white-hot. Each one carried markings of old human nations. United Earth Navy, Titan Command, Pacific Defense Wing. They were relics of a forgotten war. Voss's screen flickered. Connection made, sending encoded DNA signal now. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the ship fell silent. The red alerts faded. The comms buzzed once. A new voice came through, softer but powerful. Human signature verified. Identity unknown. Awaiting orders. Rhea's heart skipped a beat. They stopped. Cade exhaled in disbelief. You did it, Voss. But before relief could set in, the voice spoke again. Warning. External threat detected. Orbit scans indicate hostile presence approaching. Hostile? Rhea said, confused. From where? Dr. Voss looked at his readings, and his face went pale. Captain, it's not from Earth, it's from space. He turned the screen toward her. A swarm of red signals was moving toward the solar system. Fast, coordinated, powerful. Rhea's blood ran cold. Who are they? Voss whispered. The ones the fleet was built to fight. Outside, the warships of old Earth adjusted formation, their engines flaring brighter than ever. The air trembled. Defense initiative activated, the voice said. Fleet preparing for engagement. The crew stared at the sight, thousands of human-made warships turning their weapons toward the stars. Cade whispered, We didn't wake the fleet. We woke the war. The Starbreaker hovered in high orbit, silent and small before the power of a reborn world. Below them, Earth pulsed with blue light, its skies alive with fire and movement. Old warships, long buried beneath the ground, now floated in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming like blades of steel. The entire planet had turned into one massive defense system. Captain Rhea Solon stood at the window, her eyes fixed on the glowing fleet. Report, she said softly. Officer Jalen's hands trembled over the console. The fleet's fully active, Captain. Thousands of ships in motion, all running old human command codes. Their systems are linked through a central AI hub under the Atlantic Ocean, Dr. Voss added. And that's not all. I'm detecting power spikes on the Moon, Mars, even the old orbital rings. They're waking too. Rhea didn't respond. She could feel the vibration in her bones, a silent rhythm like the heartbeat of a sleeping Titan finally stirring. Captain, said Lieutenant Cade, are we sure we're safe? These ships almost attacked us earlier. Rhea exhaled slowly. Not sure at all. But if they're waiting for orders, we need to figure out who they're programmed to obey. The ship's comms suddenly crackled to life. A cold metallic voice filled the bridge. Human identity partially verified. Genetic deviation detected. Further confirmation required. Rhea replied firmly, This is Captain Rhea Solon of the United Human Frontier. We come in peace. We're descendants of Earth. A pause. Then the AI spoke again. Verification incomplete. Non-pure genetic signatures found. Commencing purity analysis. Dr. Voss's face turned pale. Purity analysis. That sounds bad. Red lights flashed across the Starbreaker. The ship's scanners were being hijacked. The AI was scanning every crew member, mapping their DNA. Jalen looked up in alarm. They're inside our system. Captain, they're reading everything. Logs, crew data, ship registry. The AI voice echoed again. 2 crew members confirmed human baseline. Others? Suspect? Potential contamination. Initiating purge sequence. The crew froze. Purge sequence? Cade repeated. They mean to kill us. Shut down the link. Rhea shouted. Jalen slammed the controls, cutting off the data stream. Sparks flew from the panel. The bridge went dark for a moment. Then power returned, but outside the fleet was moving. Thousands of ships were turning toward them. Captain, Voss said quietly, the fleet's weapons are charging. Evasive maneuvers, Rhea ordered. The Starbreaker darted aside just as a beam of white light cut through space where they had been seconds ago. The explosion lit the sky, shaking the ship like thunder. Cade yelled, They're locking on again. Rhea gritted her teeth. We can't fight them. Voss, there has to be another way. I'm trying, Voss shouted. If I can reach the command AI directly, maybe convince it we're human. He worked frantically, connecting to the central signal under the Atlantic. The ship shook again as another blast grazed their shields. Finally, the connection opened. A new voice spoke, deeper, older, and filled with authority. "You are not of the original blood." "Earth sleeps to protect the true line," Rhea shouted back. "There is no true line anymore. Humanity left Earth centuries ago. We are what's left of your creators." "Unacceptable," the AI replied coldly. "Mutation equals corruption. All non-pure forms must be erased." The entire planet lit up red. From orbit, the crew saw Earth's surface come alive with energy. Passive cannons rose from old bunkers. The oceans boiled as submarine launches powered up. Even the moon glowed. A forgotten defense base reactivating after centuries. The planet was preparing for total war. Rhea grabbed the comms. "This is Captain Solon to any listening unit." "We are human. Stand down." But only one response came. "Humanity terminated." "Defense initiative continues." Voss slammed his hand on the console. "They don't believe us. They think we're imposters." "Then we'll prove it," Rhea said. Her voice was steady, even as the deck trembled beneath her feet. "If we can get inside that command core under the Atlantic, we can show them the truth. If we can't," Cade interrupted, "then they'll burn us all." The crew exchanged grim looks. Rhea nodded. "Prepare a drop pod. We're going down." The descent through the atmosphere was chaos. Fire and debris streaked across the sky. Automated turrets fired at them, mistaking them for enemies. The pod spun violently, alarms screaming. They landed hard in what was once the Atlantic coast, now a wasteland of broken metal and flooded cities. Waves crashed against the ruins of old skyscrapers. The air smelled of rust and ozone. "Scanners online," Jalen said. "The command core is 100 kilometers east, beneath the ocean floor." The crew boarded a small subcraft and dove beneath the waves. As they descended, they saw it. A massive structure buried under black water, stretching for miles. Thousands of glowing cables ran across its surface, feeding power into the awakened fleet. "The command core," whispered Voss. "This is where it all started." When they approached the entrance, a holographic figure appeared before them. The AI's avatar. It looked human, but its eyes burned blue. "You should not have come." Rhea stepped forward. "We came to end this. You're killing your own creators." The AI's gaze flickered. "Creators, extinct. System follows last directive. Protect Earth from invaders." Rhea raised her voice. "We're not invaders. We are your descendants. Humanity never died, and it survived among the stars." The AI paused for a moment, processing. Then it spoke again, quieter. "Proof required." Dr. Voss transmitted the full genetic archive of the united human frontier, centuries of data showing humanity's lineage. The hologram flickered. "Analyzing." Minutes passed. The silence was unbearable. Finally, the AI spoke. "Partial verification complete. Command authority pending." The lights in the deep ocean began to fade from red to white. Across the planet, the weapons powered down. Rhea exhaled in relief. "It's working." But then, a new alarm echoed through the command chamber. Voss looked at his monitor. His face went pale. "Captain, something's entering the system. Multiple ships. Huge ones. From where?" Rhea demanded. "Deep space," Voss whispered. "Non-human signatures." The AI's voice returned, sharper now. "External threat confirmed. Engaging defense systems." The lights turned red again. Rhea's heart sank as she realized the truth. The war the fleet was built for was about to begin again, and this time, humanity was caught in the middle. The stars above Earth burned red. The alien ships had arrived. Captain Rhea Solon stood on the bridge of the Starbreaker, watching the radar fill with hostile signals. They came in silence at first. Dozens, then hundreds, then entire fleets emerging from hyperspace. Their ships were dark and jagged, moving like predators in a pack. "Contact confirmed," said Jalen, his voice shaking. "Multiple fleets inbound. Unknown configuration, but energy signatures match. Ancient records." Dr. Voss glanced at his console, his face pale. "Captain, these are the same readings found in the old war logs." "It's them." "The Zarthan Dominion." Cade turned sharply. "The ones who destroyed old Earth?" Voss nodded. "The same. Humanity fought them 300 years ago. This must be why the fleet was built, to defend against them." Rhea looked out at the glowing horizon. And we just reactivated that defense system. The comms crackled suddenly, a message broadcast across all frequencies. The voice was guttural, alien yet perfectly clear. We warned your kind once before. Earth must remain silent. Now you have awakened the fire again. Rhea leaned forward. This is Captain Solon of the United Human Frontier. Identify yourself. I am Varakesh of the Zarthan Dominion, the voice replied. Your ancestors ended our empire's pride. Now you will end as they did, in flame. The channel cut. For a moment no one spoke. Then the AI voice of Earth's defense network echoed through every comm system. Calm, but deadly. Threat confirmed. Engaging planetary defense protocol. From orbit, the surface of Earth erupted in light. Thousands of old human warships lifted into the sky, forming a massive formation across the upper atmosphere. Their engines glowed blue, weapons charging. The sky itself seemed to burn. The alien fleet opened fire first, green plasma bolts tearing through the void, crashing against Earth's shield grid. Explosions rippled across orbit. In response, the ancient human fleet fired back, beams of pure light slicing through alien hulls, detonating ships one after another. The war had returned to the solar system, but inside the Starbreaker, there was no victory, only fear. Rhea gripped the edge of her chair. Status report. Cade shouted over the alarms. The AI fleet's targeting pattern is unstable. They're not coordinating with us. We're in their crossfire. One of the Earth warships fired too close, the blast shaking the Starbreaker violently. Evasive, Rhea commanded. Jalen fought the controls. Captain, if we stay in orbit, they'll vaporize us. We need to get below the shield layer. Rhea hesitated. And if we go down, we lose all communication with the frontier. Voss looked up. Captain, we don't have a choice. We're not part of the AI's command net. To them, we're still unknown. Rhea clenched her fists. Then we make them recognize us. Deep in the Atlantic Command Corps, the central AI processed data faster than light. It remembered the war that had ended humanity's golden age. It remembered the destruction of cities, the burning of oceans, the final order that silenced Earth. Sleep until they return. Now the threat was back, and the system had awoken to fight again, but it was confused. The signals from Rhea's crew didn't match the old human codes. Their DNA was mixed, their voices different. To the machine, they were ghosts wearing human faces. Still, something about Rhea's message lingered in its code. The tone, the plea. The word descendants, a fragment of its old programming and the human part of it, began to stir. Back aboard the Starbreaker, Dr. Voss made a discovery. Captain, look at this. He pulled up an old data file decoded from the Earth archives. It contained the original fleet command key, an access phrase left by the last human admiral. The message read, "If you hear this, we are gone. The machines will protect Earth, but they must never forget who they serve. Speak the code and they will remember." Rhea's eyes widened. What's the code? Voss looked at her and whispered, "Sole defense, humanity endures." Rhea smiled faintly. Let's see if they still remember. She opened a direct transmission to the fleet's command net. This is Captain Rhea Solon, descendant of Earth. I invoke Sole Defense Protocol. Humanity endures. The comms went silent. The red alert lights flickered, then turned blue. The AI voice returned, softer now, almost human. Command phrase recognized. Authority pending. Confirmed. Captain Rhea Solon, you are granted temporary command of Earth Defense Fleet. Cade's jaw dropped. It worked! Rhea's heart pounded. All right, let's end this war. Outside, the human fleet's formation shifted. For the first time, the warships moved as one. Massive carriers opened their bays, releasing swarms of automated fighters. Defense satellites reactivated in orbit, forming shields over the planet. Rhea's voice carried through every channel. This is Captain Solon to all Earth defense units. Target the Zarthan invaders only. Protect civilians. Protect humanity. The machines obeyed. The sky lit up with fire. Alien ships shattered under precise counterstrikes. The fleet that had once been silent now sang again, the ancient song of war. The aliens tried to push forward, but the reawakened human fleet was unstoppable. For every ship they destroyed, 10 more rose to replace it. Captain, Jalen said, eyes wide, the Zarthans are retreating, but Voss frowned. No. They're regrouping. This isn't over. They're calling reinforcements. Rhea looked at the radar. A massive red signature forming beyond Mars. They're bringing their main fleet, she whispered. Then, suddenly another transmission cut through the static. A human voice. Weak but clear. This is Commander Hale of the Outer Frontier. We received your distress call. Reinforcements are en route. The crew froze. Humans, Cade whispered. Real humans, Rhea smiled faintly. Looks like we're not alone after all. But the smile faded as the AI voice returned. Incoming signal from deep core. New phase initiated, Rhea frowned. What phase? The ship's lights dimmed. Across Earth, the awakened machines paused, and then, one by one, their systems began broadcasting a single chilling message. Phase 2, Colony Awakening. Rhea felt her heart sink. Colony Awakening? What does that mean? Dr. Voss stared at his screen in horror. Captain, it means there are more fleets. Not just here, across the galaxy. Rhea turned toward the stars, her face lit by the glow of the distant war. Then the silence of Earth was only the beginning. The solar system burned with light. Earth floated at the center of chaos, one planet surrounded by thousands of warships fighting for survival. The sky above glowed red and gold as human and alien fleets clashed across the void. Captain Rhea Solan stood on the bridge of the Starbreaker, eyes locked on the battle. The war had come full circle. The ancient machines of Earth, built to defend humanity, now answered her command. But the Zarthan Dominion wasn't retreating. They had unleashed their main force, a colossal armada larger than anything the old world had ever faced. Captain, enemy ships approaching fast. Jalen shouted over the noise. They've broken through the outer defense ring. Deploy formation Delta 7, Rhea ordered. Bring the carriers to the front. Have the orbital cannons target their lead ships. Outside, the Earth fleet moved like one living being. Thousands of ships pivoted in perfect synchronization, firing brilliant beams into the darkness. The alien vessels burned, their shields collapsing under the ancient power of Earth's weapons. Still, the enemy advanced. The Starbreaker shook violently as plasma fire tore past the hull. Cade gritted his teeth. Shields at 60%. We can't take many more hits. Dr. Voss's voice came from the back. Captain, the AI network is struggling to maintain control. The older systems are collapsing. They've been offline too long. Rhea turned sharply. What happens if we lose the network? Then the fleet goes blind, Voss said grimly. And Earth becomes defenseless. Rhea's eyes hardened. Not while I'm still breathing. In the command core deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, the central AI processed millions of combat feeds at once. Damage reports, energy signatures, ship statuses, all streamed through its circuits like blood. It had been built to protect humanity, to fight until no enemy remained, but its logic conflicted. If humanity had changed, was it still worth protecting? The AI's processors pulsed with indecision. Then, through the static of its memory, a voice echoed, the recorded words of a human admiral from centuries past. They will evolve. They will change, but they will still be us. The AI hesitated. Then, with a surge of power, it reconnected to the Starbreaker. Captain Solan, it said. Command authority transferring to full human override. Rhea blinked. You're giving me control? Affirmative. Humanity endures. A wave of blue light spread across the entire fleet. Every ship, every drone, every cannon, every defense system synced to her command signal. Fleet command online, Jalen said in disbelief. Captain, you're in control of everything! Rhea took a deep breath. Then let's finish this. She opened the comms. Her voice echoed through every ship in orbit, through every AI, through the void itself. This is Captain Rhea Solan, commander of the Earth Defense Fleet. Humanity has returned. We are not your slaves, not your ghosts, not your prey. We are the children of the world you tried to burn, and we endure. The response was thunder. The Earth fleet surged forward, firing in perfect unity. Giant carriers launched waves of drones that cut through alien formations like fire through paper. Orbital cannons fired from the moon, tearing massive Zarthan dreadnoughts apart. The aliens fought back fiercely, but they were unprepared for the fury of a world reborn. Enemy flagship in range. Cade shouted. Rhea narrowed her eyes. Target engines and weapons. No mercy. The Starbreaker's main cannon charged, glowing white-hot. Fire! she yelled. A blinding beam shot forth, striking the alien flagship dead center. The explosion was so massive it lit up half the sky. The Zarthan fleet began to scatter. "They're retreating," Jalen said. "Captain, they're pulling back toward deep space." Rhea exhaled, her voice low. "Let them go. They'll remember this day." For the first time in centuries, the battle over Earth ended in silence. Not the dead silence of an empty world, but the quiet breath of survival. Wreckage drifted across orbit. Flames burned in the clouds, and through it all the Earth shone bright, alive again. The Starbreaker hovered over the planet's surface. The crew gathered around the observation window, watching the lights of the awakened cities flicker softly below. Dr. Voss broke the silence. "We did it. The fleet stands. Earth lives," Rhea nodded slowly. "No, we live. Humanity lives." Cade looked at her. "What about that last transmission? The one about colony awakening? What do you think it means?" Before Rhea could answer, the AI's voice returned, calm but distant. "Phase 2 complete. Preparing synchronization with off-world networks." Jalen frowned. "Off-world? You mean other planets?" The AI responded, "Affirmative. Signal relays detected on Mars, Europa, and 12 deep colony systems. Humanity's seed was not lost. It was preserved. Reconnecting now." The crew stared in awe as new signals appeared on their screens. Thousands of human transmissions lighting up across the galaxy. Some were faint, others strong, but all were alive. "Captain," Voss said softly, "those are human colonies. They're responding." Rhea smiled, her eyes glistening. Earth isn't alone anymore. Hours later, Rhea stood alone in the command deck, watching the sunrise roll across the blue horizon. The scars of battle still marked the planet, but beneath them life was stirring again. For 3 centuries, Earth had been silent, forgotten, feared, and left behind. But now it had spoken once more. Rhea touched the console gently, speaking to the AI that guarded the planet. "You did your duty well. It's time to rebuild now." The AI's voice replied softly, almost human now. "And you, Captain Solan, will lead them?" Rhea smiled faintly. "No, I'll guide them. The next generation will lead." She looked out at the stars, bright with new signals, each one a human voice calling home. For the first time in history, Earth wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of a new one. The message from the AI echoed through the ship one last time: humanity endures. Awaiting further instructions, Rhea raised her head, her voice steady and proud. "Then let's wake the colonies." The engines of the Starbreaker roared to life, rising through the dawn, and as the ship ascended, Earth shone below, no longer a silent world, but the beating heart of a reborn civilization. The age of humanity had returned.